Welcome everyone to my video on how I use Peardecks with my students. I use these Peardecks both for in-person learning and for virtual student-led learning. I started using these during the pandemic because we were increasing virtual learning, but they have been so useful for myself and for my students that I have continued using them for in-person learning and for when I have students who are absent. So this is an example of a Peardeck I now use for students who are absent during the week and missed some of their lesson. So this is on our third day of microbiology. These Peardecks, I create them in Google Slides and then use a Google extension called Peardeck that embeds interactive questions within the slide deck. So students receive either a join code or a link to click on, and when they join, this is what they see. And so I have it currently set to student-led, but I can also put it on teacher-led if I want to be the one advancing through the slides. So as a student, I would click on this arrow to advance through. This is the first question for the day, and I will just type a simple answer here. Before SDT, what did you think of when you heard the word bacteria? They think gross. So one question type that Peardeck has is just an open-ended text question. Then I will show the students their learning targets for the day, which we would also go over in person, but this way they know exactly what they are aiming for as they are moving through this Peardeck. And then I tell them it's time for notes. I include links to the videos that they will watch. The videos are designed to be interactive in terms of note-taking and diagramming and labeling for the students in their notebooks. Once they've taken those notes, they then come back to this Peardeck and they answer questions. So this is an example of a multiple choice question. They would just choose an answer. That was not the correct answer, by the way. They would choose an answer here for another multiple choice, and I do like to include multiple types of questions within my Peardecks, both because it reaches students with different learning needs. A lot of students who have specific learning disabilities or other learning needs often do much better with multiple choice questions than they do with an open-ended question. The same for our English language learner students. However, it's also important to have questions with much more rigor and application in there. And so by having a range of questions, I'm trying to meet the needs of all of my students who are in the class. And then here's another one of those open-ended questions. And then one of the questions that I love in Peardeck is the drawing questions, especially because our students have Chromebooks that have touch screens. So I can choose my color and I can draw a gram-negative Staphylococcus bacteria right there on the screen. Students seem to really enjoy these drawing questions. So then bringing it back to another multiple choice question. This one, they would click on a video to watch it. And then another great use for the drawing questions is for students to show their work for math. What I do also love about these drawing questions, you can include straight lines, you can use text boxes, then more multiple choice for them, another text, and then this is one of my favorite application questions because it really pulls together everything that they have learned from throughout the day, and it is very open-ended and an extensive answer based on what they have learned. And then at the end, I remind them what their next tasks are. So then that is what it looks like for a student. For myself as an instructor, this is what I see. Here I have windows on the left that show me the slides, and then student responses are on the right. So you can see this is the response that I as a student wrote. I can see who wrote it. I can see who is in the class. What is also convenient is if students are in the class but have not answered, they are listed at the bottom. And if I'm doing this in person or in real time, I can actually see students typing as they are going. I can see what they are putting, and so it's even possible to correct students as they are in the middle of working and, ask them to hang on, check your thinking before they submit a response. And so they get real feedback in real time instead of waiting, doing a quiz, submitting it, and getting it back the next day. So I really do like that about this. And I can see all of the students' answers at once. And I can actually call on students knowing that they have the correct answer and different answers and use this as a basis to generate class discussion and kind of cover all of our knowledge bases because I can see literally what every student is thinking. So I really love it. All right, and so then for something like the multiple choice question, this is what it looks like. Drawing questions will look like this, and I will see every student's slide. And then I can also, when I am done with this, I can turn it back onto teacher paste if I would like. I can show the responses on the screen. I can lock their screens if I want them to stop typing, add a new prompt. If I end it, All right, I can either generate takeaways, which creates Google Docs to allow me to provide direct feedback, or I can even export this into an Excel spreadsheet if I want to track their answers over time in a database-friendly format. So that is Peardeck and a little bit of how I use it in my classrooms.